Wanda done sent it to me. Wanda sent it to me.
What a mugshot.
Everybody.
The meeting of the regularly scheduled meeting of the Plaquemines Council as sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District is now called to order at 1:02. Machine is open for roll call.
This isn't going to be in there. Oh, I'm sorry. This
Council members, machine is open for roll call. Miss Audrey, Mr. Turner's coming? Okay. Let the machine reflect that there are 8 council members present. Mr. Turner may be here later. If we'll all rise, Mr. Hinckley will lead us in a prayer.
Let's pray. We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for this parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom, and we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We also pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Griffin will lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for being here today. Hope you wore your long underwear. We'll move to item 2, executive session. Item 2A, attorney-client discussion regarding creation of an economic development corporation and potential acquisitions. Attorney Ken Rathburn. I will move for executive session. Ask for a second. Seconded by everyone. We'll give it to Mr. Hinckley, and the machine is open. Kurt. Okay, buddy. And let the record reflect that there are 8 yeas to go into executive session. We'll do that now. Council will come back into session. Having completed the executive session and taking no final or binding action. Is every council, all the council members at the table? We need Mr. Griffin. Okay. I'm going to ask for a suspension of the rules. To wit, a resolution to cancel the December 11, 2014 regularly scheduled council meeting as the sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District and otherwise with respect thereto. I'll ask for a second on the suspension. Seconded by Mr. Griffin. Yes. Hold that thought. Give him an applause when he comes out. Thank you. Yeah, we needed that. Okay. Now that you've got everyone's attention, Jeff.
Come out and zip them up your pants.
The machine is open on the suspension. And the suspension is approved unanimously, 8 5-0. A resolution to cancel the December 11, 2014 regularly scheduled council meeting as sole governing authority of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. I offer and ask for a second. Seconded by Mr. Burris. Any discussion by any council members? Machine is open. And the meeting is canceled unanimously, 8-0. Before we move on, I do have some announcements. Along with this is for the general public. This will all be posted, but the port meeting on December 11th will be canceled. We will hold a special port meeting on December 17th, which will take up items that are remaining on the port agenda. That meeting will be held at the Belchase Library, December 17th at 4 p.m. At 4 p.m. Also on December 17th, we will call the port budget hearings. That will be December 17th, also 4 o'clock, the Belchase Library. So on the 17th, we'll have the meeting to take up the items that were moved from December 11th and the budget. And then we also will have a special port meeting on November 20th, 2014 at 4 p.m. That will be at the Belchase Council Office Building Conference Room. That's November 20th, 2014 at 4 p.m., Belchase Council Building Conference Room. We'll move to item 3, status report by the Executive Port Director.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and council members. I am Sandy Sanders, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District. What follows is my Executive Director report for the reporting period 23 October to 12 November. We have begun budget meetings with council members for the 2015 budget before the port budget hearings, which are set for the 17th of December. We are also arranging what I have deemed a freshman orientation. It's for all the newly elected council members that will be coming online in January. So on December the 16th, we're going to have perhaps a day or a half a day, depending on the agenda, where we can bring in the new electees and get them indoctrinated to the port and port operations. During this time, we have also arranged for an approved course under the American Association of Port Authorities that is precisely directed at new commissioners. So it's going to be a very, very good day, very good education. The staff will also brief items such as the port organization, the budget, as well as any operational issues in an effort to get them spun up as quickly as possible on port operations. Starting next week, I am arranging one-on-one meetings with council members elect to review port mission and vision, their goals for their district, their goals for the parish, and how we can best get off on a best foot together. And it's been, I believe right now, 5 have already set a one-on-one date. We have some ordinance and resolutions that will be introduced today. I do ask that items 6B, 6C, 6F be deferred. These are ordinances which are associated with the adoption of the port budget, and we will not be doing that until after the 17 December meeting when we have the budget hearings. Item 6H, which deals with the property and liability insurance, we again request a deferral on that. We are waiting some final various insurance quotes. There's an item 6A. It's an ordinance regarding the increase of security fees. This was voted on at the Gulf Seaports Marine Terminal Conference. It is across the board, so that will be implemented today, voted on today. We have a security grant that is going to be introduced as a ordinance. This security grant is for $226,000, and it deals with command and control enhancements and cybersecurity upgrades. There's a resolution which authorizes the executive director sign a memorandum of understanding with the Rio Grande New Orleans Gulf Coast Railroad. This MOU is a joint memorandum which spells out a cooperative endeavor by the Port Authority and the rail to serve the port and points in between with rail service in the Plaquemines area. As I already mentioned, there is a resolution which will establish the date of December 17th at the Belle Chase Library at 1600 for the port budget meeting hearings. And lastly, there will be a resolution which accepts the quotes for our health, which is with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and dental, vision, and life insurances, which are with Metropolitan Life for the 2015. Subject to your questions, Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
I'm good. Anyone at the council table have any questions, comments, audience? Thank you, sir. Introduction of ordinances and resolutions under item 5. We'll start with District 1.
None. I have none.
I have 3, I believe. An ordinance authorizing the port chairman to accept and execute a contract for the engagement of services between Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District and the law firm of Steptoe & Johnson, LLC, for consulting, regulatory, advisory, and compliance service regarding, inter alia, the acquisition of property investments required for the realization of the proposed port facility development, as well as to amend the 2014 Port Fund and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. I have a resolution authorizing the 2014 Council Chair, Kirk M. Lapine, to open the January 8, 2015 meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council as the sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to dispose of disused movable property, specifically to dispose of 2 vessels, Authority 1 and Authority 2, on an as-is, where-is basis in accordance with Louisiana statutes governing the disposal of movable property owned by a political subdivision of the state and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I have a couple, Dr. Goode.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. A resolution appointing the members of the Port Committee of Plaquemines Parish Council for the 2015 pertinent to ordinance number 11-5, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution electing the Plaquemines Parish Port Harbor Terminal District Vice Chairperson for 2015, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution electing the Plaquemines Parish Port Harbor Terminal District Chairperson for the 2015, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's all I have.
Thank you. Move to item 6A1. An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt ordinance number 07102 adopted May 10, 2007 to establish and initiate the collection of the Plaquemines Parish Port Harbor and Terminal District security fees, security surcharges, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. I will offer and ask for a second. Seconded by Mr. Burris. I will turn it over to the administration. Port administration.
Thank you, Dr. Gouy. As per General Sanders' comments earlier, this increase has been approved by the Gulf Seaports Marine Terminal Conference. We're a member of that conference. It's virtually a negligible increase. It's approximately a 1% increase for certain fees, security fees. That's it.
Yeah, I think we've had this on occasion.
Yes, sir. It's been almost on a yearly basis. Every year the conference meets in April to discuss security fees and votes at that time whether or not to increase the fees across the ports of the Gulf.
That's correct. Any questions from any council members? Audience? Sheen is open. And the Ordinance is approved 8-0. Inadvertently, I skipped over item 4, but just for the public, item 4, bids and advertisements, there will be none today. 6B deferred, 6C is deferred. We'll move to item 6D. An ordinance authorizing the Plaquemines Port Harbor Terminal District to accept funds from Port Security Grant Program Award Number EMW 2014 PU 00432-S01 for command and control enhancements and cybersecurity upgrades, assessment, and installation services, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. I'll offer. Seconded by Mr. Burris.
Yes, this is a grant in the amount of $226,900, 75% of which would be federal, and we have obtained state matching monies for 25% from the Port-wide Strategic Security Council. This is in regards to cybersecurity. All of our current security is internet-based. Well, this is just to protect the port's internet capabilities and accessibilities, to limit that. There are no new cameras or anything like that. This is all internal.
Any questions from any council members? Audience? There being none, the machine is open. And the ordinance is approved 8-0. We'll move to item 6E. A resolution authorizing Maynard Sandy Sanders as Executive Director of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the New Orleans and Gulf Coast Railway Company and Rio Grande Pacific Corporation. I will offer. Seconded by Mr. Burris.
Once again, Mr. Chairman, this MOU just outlines an agreement between us and the New Orleans Gulf Coast as a point of working together to bring rail down to the port and service points in between, and also to work together when we are dealing with the Class 1s to bring that service from different states.
Council members, any questions? Audience? Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah, Warren Lawrence, 120 Timber Canal Lane, Myrtle Grove. The only question I have on here is, we entered into agreement with the railroad company to extend down to the port, and I think we're neglecting to find out where the location of the railroad is going to be as it goes through the area of Ironton and the rest of the parish, where it's not even there right now. And are there already servitudes granted, or what is the status that we're going to an agreement and we can't even find out where the location of that rail is going to be?
None of that's been determined yet. This is part of the process to do that, Mr. Lawrence. There is, as far as the existing rights-of-way, I would have to defer that to the railroad to identify those, but at this point, no determinations have been made. I'll defer to the Port Administration if there's anything further.
I believe that's it, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, it just seems a little odd that, we want to go into a memo of agreement before we know who's going to lose their land, how close they're going to be to these railroads. What's the situation going to be? It seems like it's a little backwards. If the railroad should know by now where they want to locate the tracks to go down there, and you can't get any information out the railroad, you go to the port and they tell you, well, it's up to the railroad. I mean, the people are left out this port.
Well, I violently disagree with you.
Okay.
Because this is the process to make all of that happen.
Okay.
It's opening the door. Did you have anything, Mr. Rathburn?
Yes, sir, if I may. It's important to understand the distinction between a memorandum of understanding and an agreement. There is no agreement being entered into with the railway right now. That's the whole point that Mr. Lawrence is bringing up is a good one, but that's why you have a memo of understanding, so that you go and explore where you're going to track these things. The port is not agreeing with the railroad to build anything right now. They're going to explore and find out, and there'll be time for these public hearings, for people to have their input. This is the first step that you do that with, where you don't contractually obligate yourself to do anything, and that's the memo of understanding.
Anyone else?
Stewart,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
if I may. Mr. Lawrence, would you like to look at the agreement, the memorandum? Huh?
We'll get you a copy.
I have a copy if you want it.
Yeah. Anyone else? Machine is open. And the resolution is approved, 8-0. Item 6F is deferred. We'll move to item 6G. Before I offer, though, there's some blanks. On line 17, there's a blank. Please insert December 17th. And then on line 18, the underlined portion starts with Plaquemines, ends with Louisiana. Change that to Belchase Library, Belchase, Louisiana. And then on line 20, in the blank, insert December 17th. And then I need some assistance on line 28. It discusses the budget being put in the libraries for public view. Do you know the date that was placed?
That would have been October 24th. It was the day after the last council meeting of
Okay.
October 23.
If you would, on line 28, where it says November, scratch that out, put October, and then the blank will be 24th, and then we'll just leave it in the library till the end of the year.
Yes,
We'll
sir,
just
and
leave
it
there.
is posted on the website.
So, and that blank after December, put 31st, and again, it is posted on the website for public view. With that, I'll offer a resolution establishing the date, time, and place of public hearings on the proposed 2015 operating budget and capital improvement budget as submitted by the Executive Director of the Plaquemines Port Auburn Terminal District to authorize the Council Secretary to place the necessary public notice in the Plaquemines Gazette and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. I will offer. Seconded by Mr. Burris. Any questions at the council table? Audience? Machine is open. And the resolution is approved 8-0. We will defer 6H. We move to item 6I. Now, on the resolution that everyone has, are the amounts in your resolutions? You have them? No. Okay. I guess that's why they gave me the changes to hand out to everybody. Got it. Well, let me read the changes and then I'll offer. The changes, line 5, you see in the yellow highlight, insert port. On lines 11, in that first blank, we're inserting $34,409.54. In the second blank, $412,914.48. On line 12, the first blank, $2,129.43. The second blank, $25,553.16. Line 13, the blank, $382.75. Line 14, the blank, $4,593. Line 15, the first blank, $389.08. The second blank, $4,668.95. a resolution to provide port employees group coverages consisting of health, dental, vision, and life for the policy period of January 1, 2015 through December 31st, 2015 on an employer-employee contributory basis of 83%/17% and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. I'll offer. Second by Mr. Burris. I'll turn that over to the Port Administration.
Yes, Councilmember Gouy, Dr. Gouy, it is straightforward. This is to provide insurance for the port employees for 2015. Mr. Wayne Forsain is here to answer any questions that you may have. This amount represents about a 6.4 increase in the health insurance over last year.
Council members? Audience? Mr. Lawrence, please.
Warren Lawrence, Myrtle Grove. I just want to have one question is, how does this compare to regular parish employees? Is the same coverage applied to each one and the percentage ratio any different than parish employees from port employees?
I believe, Mr. Lawrence, my understanding is parish employees, the parish pays 72% and the employee pays 28%.
And what about the amounts?
The amount of coverage.
The amounts, the actual dollar amounts. Are we dealing with apples and apples?
I will defer that to Mr. Forsain, but I don't think you can compare because
it's a separate policy?
Yes, sir, totally separate. You're looking at a group of roughly 600 against a group of 43. There's quite a bit of disparity.
Mr. Lawrence, would you like him to Mr. Forsain to give a comparison?
Well, I mean, it just seems odd, before they separated the port and everything, you had over the 600, so you had a lot of group buying the insurance, and
right.
I just don't understand how there's not a endeavor agreement or something between the two, that they're all in the same policy. You get it cheaper if you got more in it, and, or different employees treated different. Do they have better coverage in the port than they do in the parish employees? I just can't understand. They all paid for by the taxpayer, and they all should have similar, and maybe they do have similar. I don't know what their benefits are. If they all have the same benefits and they pay the same amount, why is there a difference?
Mr. Lawrence, to answer your question, I believe that the coverages are similar. I'm not familiar with what the parishes are, but I'm sure Mr. Forsain can allude to that. But basically, when the port separated from the parish, there was no way, being two separate entities, that we could be under the same umbrella as far as the health, life, and dental insurance. We did research those avenues, but it just wasn't doable.
I can understand that. If that's the case, then that's fine. The only thing I'm saying is even if you're going separate, if the benefits are the same, if you have the same type, if you both have vision, you both have the same hospitalization benefits, you may have to pay more in your case because you're a smaller group. I understand that. But are the benefits the same? And for the public to see something like this and to say you don't know if they compare with one another is really, I think, out of line.
Yeah.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Lawrence, the audits that separated the port, 12-139, actually, it was the intent of the council to provide the same benefits that the port employees enjoyed as members of the parish.
Benny Roussel, 1012 Epsilon Street. Along those lines, how did we come about paying 83% for port employees versus 72% for parish employees?
When we did the initial split, Mr. Roussel, the increase in cost due to the small size of the group was substantial, and the council felt that in order to not unduly tax the employee, that the rates were such that it was necessary, if you will, for the council to pick up a larger portion to keep it in ratio to what the employee had been paying before with the parish. We had some instances where a lower-end employee, his insurance may have gone up, don't hold me to these numbers, but possibly $200 to $300 a month. And this is a minimum scale employee. So in an effort to keep everything fair, the council graciously accepted the 8317, which puts us in line with what the parish was paying, parish employees.
Thank you. I'll be glad to look at that when we come to
Yes, sir.
our visit.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Machine is open. And the resolution is approved, 8-0. There's no new business. Item 8, approval of the October 23rd, 2014 meeting minutes. I will offer. Ask for a second. Seconded by Mr. Griffin. The machine is open on the approval of the October 23rd, 2014 minutes. And those minutes are approved, 8-0. Mr. Burris requests an adjournment for the Port meeting, seconded by Mr. Hinckley. The machine is open on adjournment. And we are adjourned by a vote of 6-0 at 1:59. Okay, that's out of the way. Sandy.
Good afternoon. We'll open the Plaquemines Parish Council meeting for November 13th at 1:59. The machine is open for roll call. Let the record reflect 7 council. There was a verbal yes by Mr. Bureau, so there's 8 of us here. Councilman Turner is absent. We will move to item 1, roll call, prayer and the pledges of dispense. We move to item 1A, executive session. Item 1 is deferred. Item 2, discussion pertinent to LR Louisiana RA Statute 42-17A4, investigative proceeding regarding allegations of misconduct. I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Burris. The machine is open for executive session. And executive session 8-0. We'll move to executive session at 8:02:01. We come out of executive session at 2:19 with no binding or legal action. We're going to move to item 1B, proclamations. Ms. Barber, can you read that?
A proclamation proclaiming November 13, 2014 as Hospital District No. 1 Day in the Parish of Plaquemines.
Byron, you going to offer this? We got to get a second first. Okay, ask for unanimous second, please. Okay, Byron.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Whereas the 9 members of the Plaquemines Parish Hospital District Board, James L. Capello, Chairman, District 6 Representative, Connie Moore Van Lincoln, Vice Chairman, District 7 Representative, Ms. Mary Ann Despo Bro, Treasurer, District 3 Representative, Reverend Tyrone Edwards, District 1 Representative, Dale L. Adams, District 2 Representative, Mina L. Marinovich, District 4 Representative, Andre Sharput, District 5 Representative, Ms. Bonnie Jo Schaumburger Thomas, District 8 Representative, and Tony Frickley, District 9 Representative, have all dedicated significant time and talent to ensure that the medical center, Plaquemines Medical Center, would rise from the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. And whereas the board members overcame significant obstacles and challenges to not only replace what has been lost in 2005, but also took on the task of improvement of the medical facility. And whereas their sacrifice yielded a landmark facility and represents an investment in the health and well-being of all the residents of Plaquemines Parish, its many tourists and industry workers, and whereas the board served countless hours without pay and with a tremendous amount of tenacity to ensure that quality health services would be available today and in the future for all of Plaquemines Parish, and whereas the longest-serving member of the board, its chairman, James L. Capello, gave of his time selflessly for over 10 years, guiding the medical center, rebuilding despite many setbacks and a grueling construction schedule, never wavering from the objective of providing the best facility possible for Plaquemines Parish. Now therefore be proclaimed by the Plaquemines Parish Council, represented by its duly authorized chairman, Mr. Kirk M. Lapine, and by concurrence of the parish president, William H. Nungesser, representing the Plaquemines Parish government, that it hereby declares Thursday, November 13, 2014, as Hospital District Number 1 Day in the parish of Plaquemines, in gratitude for the entire board's honorable service and commitment to the people of Plaquemines Parish.
Thank you, Byron.
What I'd like to say at this time is, I'm not just doing this because my mom's sitting here in the audience, but we have several other members I've managed to come here today. And I know, like this says before, none of these people have been paid. They've put tremendous amounts of time. I know there's been many changes and upgrades and downgrades and arguments with FEMA. Some members actually left the board, but these members actually stayed on the whole time to push through this project and make sure it gets done. And I know this medical center is very, very important, not just for the residents, but for the industry that we're trying to create, the economic boom we're trying to make for this parish. That this would be something, another thing that we can offer to the people coming in and showcase our parish. So I just want to thank every one of y'all. I'm sure the council feels the same way, and I really appreciate what all of you have done.
You want to try to get a picture with him, or who's here?
Yeah, you want to vote?
Oh, we need to vote on it. I'm sorry. The machine is open on the proclamation. Forgot about the vote.
You vote already? I can't see.
And the proclamation is approved. 8-0. We'll try to get a.
Yeah.
Alex, you have your camera? Okay. All right. Would the board members please come up? We'd like to get a picture with you. Who's ever here in attendance? Miss Marion Bro, I see you. Miss Mina. So you have it too? So we have anybody else? Is that it? Go ahead, Ms. Mina.
My name is Mina Marinovich. I represent the Plaquemines Parish Medical Center, and I have 3 requests for you guys. Everyone in here, and please pass it around. On December 6th, Saturday, please vote. Second request, on your way down to the Orange Festival on that Saturday, please stop by the medical facility and view what we've put up together, and I hope you're all as proud of it as we are. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We'll move. Thank you, Ms. Mina. We will now move to item 1C. Status report. Anything? No. Move to item 2. Bids and advertisement. Ms. Brenda.
Good afternoon. I'm Brenda Staniford, Plaquemines Parish Purchasing Agent. I have a resolution authorizing acceptance of bids for furnishing one or more Cabelco SK210 LC Dynamic Mark 9 hydraulic crawler excavators or equal with a T4 engine for a period of 1 year for parish-wide use. After due advertisements, bids were received October 7, 2014 from the following: H&E Equipment of Kenner, Duhorn Machinery of Kenner, Hertz Corporation of New Jersey, Scott Construction of St. Rose, CLM of Prairieville, State Machinery of Kenner, Lee Tractor of St. Rose, M&L of Metairie, and Doggett Machinery of St. Rose. Mr. Emmett Burris, Superintendent of Heavy Equipment, recommends the acceptance of the low bid of Lee Tractor.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda. I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Griffin. Any questions from the table? Audience? The machine is open on the bid. And the bid is granted 8-0. Ms. Brenda?
Okay, I put a revised bid on your table today for the garbage cans. I have a revised resolution authorizing acceptance of bids for furnishing rollout waste containers for a period of 1 year for parish-wide use. After due advertisements, bid was received September 30th from the following: Odo Environmental from Charlotte, North Carolina, Rehig Pacific from Los Angeles, Toda from Statesville, North Carolina, Cascade Engineering from Grand Rapids, and Schaefer Systems out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Mr. Mike Mullen, Assistant Parish Attorney, recommends the acceptance of Toda.
I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Burris. Ms. Brenda, I guess I have a question why it's not the lowest bid, and that was recommended by Mr. Mullins.
Yes, sir. I went to parish attorneys to get legal opinion on it. I'm going to defer to Mr. Rennie Burris.
Essentially, Mr. Scott Roussel approached me and said that there were two different types of cans submitted. One is what's called an injected molded can, and the other type of can is something that's called rotationally molded can. And the injected molded cans, we have significant repair issues with, and a lot of documentation showing that those cans either break or go out or needed to be repaired significantly more often than the toter cans. And so Mr. Mullins said that, so that's why we recommended the toter cans, because they break less and have a longer shelf life, and we believe in the end actually is cheaper. So with that documentation and support, I asked Mr. Mullen if that would be acceptable, and he said yes. So that was legal's opinion from Mr. Mullen, and that's why we recommend to the council to accept the toter cans.
And I respect that. I respect that we look for more durability, a better can. But were the specs itself for this type of can, or was it for a certain type of can?
The spec. Do you have a copy? You had a copy of the specs?
Yes, I have a copy of the specs.
Yeah, you can present them with a copy of the specs.
Mr. Rathburn, can you chime?
That was part of what you and I discussed, Mr. Lapine, and unless it's specified these toter cans, I don't think you can go out for public bid and then distinguish away from the lowest competent bidder, qualified bidder, based on a post-determination of the kind of can you want to have. I don't think you can do that. You got to either rebid it or take the lowest qualified bidder. That's the legal opinion I've given Mr. Lapine on that issue.
And
that's why I asked Mr. Mullen to give an opinion. I mean, certainly if you guys want to make the recommendation for us to go out and rebid them, making a distinction between rotationally molded cans versus injected molded cans, we can do that. That was an option, and I gave that option to Mr. Mullen, but he recommended that we could go this route. So either route is fine with me, but our experience with toter is that they last.
And I think and I agree with you too. I agree that we do need a more durable can. Just my question on point was it designed specifically for that can? And I'm not asking Ms. Brent, but I'm a little confused, I guess.
The original bid, we've changed it over the years to try and meet what our needs were or whatever. Mm-hmm. We did not state whether or not it needed to be flexible or not in the bids. That's why I went to legal, because my feelings on it was that we had to accept the bid as is, because they provided an equal on what we asked for. So that's why I went to legal and got an opinion.
And I guess my next question is, are we in dire need for cans right now? Could it go out for bid? It's Mr.
we are in dire need for cans, but I feel like I think we ran the numbers, and we can advertise and have the bids in before the PO cutoff date.
Well, it'll actually be after the PO cutoff date, but we can make an exception.
But we can make an exception. Okay. So if that's what the council wants us to do, we're fine with doing that.
Okay.
The cans are desperately needed.
Okay, and I agree with you. They are. I respectfully ask that we're going to withdraw this and then try to clarify what we need. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I also have
any more, Ms. Brenda?
I have one more.
Okay.
I have a resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to advertise for and dispose of surplus vehicles and equipment on a whereas as-is basis through public auction conducted by Henderson Auctions. Periodically, the parish has numerous pieces of equipment and vehicles which surplus or are no longer in working condition and needs to be disposed of. It is my recommendation that the parish dispose of this surplus equipment and vehicles through public auction. Henderson Auction will pick up and dispose of the surplus and junk equipment on a periodic basis as directed by me. A list of the equipment will be to be sold will be advertised in the Gazette as per Louisiana state law requirements, and a list of the equipment will be on file in my office. I'm asking for this for the following upcoming year.
Okay. I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Burris. Any questions from the table? Audience? The machine is open on the bid. And the resolution is granted 8-0.
Okay,
Is
thank
that
you.
it? Thank you, Ms. Brendan. Move to item 3, beer and liquor license. Mr. Griffin, Mr. Hinckley, Dr. Gooey, Mr. Burris. I have none. Mr. Edgecombe, Mr. Marinovich, Ms. Cooper. Okay. All right. We move to item 4, building permits. A, construction permits.
Let me look at the date.
Jeff, you need me to take anything out?
We won't get them in time for
Mr. Griffin.
Yes, sir.
Which one you want me to defer?
486.
Take 486 out, please, gentlemen and ladies. And please take out 485. All right. We'll move on. 481. ExxonMobil Pipeline Company, Sunrise area, relocating existing 12-inch crude oil pipeline. 482. W&T Offshore Incorporated. Take it out. Oh, yeah, okay. You want to take it out? I'll take it out then. 483. Log Exploration Company, LLC, Main Pass Area, revised Block 23, install 4-inch pipelines. 484. Shoreline Southeast, LLC, Burris area, install 6-inch flow lines. 487. Chevron Oronite Company, LLC, Chevron Oronite Plant, Belchase, install 20 horizontal soil boring. Yeah, me? Huh? You want to take that out too? Oh, wait, take out 487. All right, we'll have 481, 483, and 484 in Globo, and I'll ask for a second. Second by Mr. Edgecombe. Any questions from the table? Audience? Machine is open on the permits. And those, well,
Can we do it again?
I'm sorry.
It did.
Okay, the machine's been cleared. All right, the machine now is open on the permits. Let's do it. And the permits are granted 7-0. Those three. We will move back to 4A2. W&T Offshore Incorporated, Main Pass Area, Block 68 and 69. Abandoned 4-inch pipelines in place. I'll offer an X for a second. Second by Mr. Burris. Mr. Marinovich.
Excuse me. Only had one question on here. They show they abandoned the pipelines in place. Can anybody tell me how deep these pipelines will be under the soil, if it would be any danger or anything? That's the only question I had.
Permits, do we know or no?
So, I mean, do we know if they're going to be sticking out of the ground? Are going to be 40 feet below? Does anybody know?
I don't do permits.
Huh?
I don't do permits. I do planning and zoning.
Okay. We don't have nobody.
I can call Val. Hold on.
If you could call and find out, I'd appreciate it before we vote on it, or defer it one or the other. Pass over if we could at least.
All right. You want to pass over 4A2? 4A2. And what is the other one, Byron? You had
The other one was was on Chevron. You want to introduce it first?
Wait, wait, hold on. Let's do 4A5. 4A5, Michael D. Manson Sr., 614 Martin Lane, Port Sulphur, install pilings for boathouse with lift and dock. I'll offer an X for second. Second by Mr. Burris. Any questions from the table?
I'll be present, not voting.
Mr. Edgecombe.
Yes, sir. I have just one question. I noticed we don't have a flood control review on that one. Is there any particular reason? Is it because it's over water?
I can't answer that, Mr. Is that required?
Do what?
Time should have been a flood.
Is it a requirement? Does anybody from legal know? Because there's no flood control review form on it at all.
Well, let's pass over 4A5 too. It's in the floodplain. Now, does that make a difference? I can't answer that. All right, we'll pass over 4A2 and 4A5. And we move to 4A7. Chevron Oronite Company, LLC, Chevron Oronite Plant, Belchase, installed 20 horizontal soil borings. I'll offer an X for second. Second by Mr. Burris. Mr. Marinovich, you had a
My question on this one is, what's going on here is it was explained that they're going to laterally delineate filter cake material on the batch, and I'd just like to have some explanation of what that might be, rather than just blindly passing a permit. It says soil borings, but that's what the work is in related to. It says install all these horizontal soil borings to laterally. It's not just to do soil borings to do a test. It's to use these soil borings to laterally delineate filter cake material on the batcher. I want to know if there's something that's in place there legally, or if they're trying to do some mitigation work, or is this a good or a bad thing? I just like an answer on it.
All right. Don't have an answer. I guess we'll pass over 4A2, 4A5, and 4A7 at this minute.
Thank you.
Somebody called Shepherd.
All right. Unless the permit can give us an answer.
That's it. That's all I have.
Okay, we'll move to item 4B. Ms. Barber, for construction.
DTR Fitness Factory, LLC, Devin Louvier, commercial business in an A2 zoning district, 36147 Highway 11, Burris, Louisiana.
Your offer, Mr. Marinovich?
Yes, sir, I do.
Offer and a second by Mr. Edgecombe. Mr. Marinovich?
Simply what's going on here is just the old American Legion Hall in Burris. The young ladies opened a fitness or dance studio there. I didn't see any problems, no complaints from neighbors. I know the young lady quite well. I feel very well about what she's doing, and I don't see any problem at all with it. I'd ask you for your support.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. We good?
Yes, sir.
Any questions from the table? Audience? The machine is open on 4B. And the permit, the construction permit is passed for 8-0. Move to 4C.
Kurt Cavalier Fireworks Stand Renewal, 7614 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana.
I'll offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Burris. This is just a fireworks stand renewal. Any questions? I'll try. Audience? The machine is open on 4C. And permits granted 8-0. We'll move to item 5, introductions of ordinance and second resolutions. Mr. Griffin, do you have any introductions? Mr. Hinkling?
You want me to do this ball for us?
Mm-hmm. An ordinance authorizing the parish president to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Plaquemines Parish government and the Champions Park LLC and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Yeah. Let me go for this.
An ordinance authorizing the Plaquemines Parish Council to create a public benefit corporation to be tasked with negotiating, executing, and monitoring a contract and/or lease with an entity sufficient and qualified to manage, per the reasonable discretion of the Public Benefit Corporation, the property located and described per the delineation at Exhibit A and otherwise provide with respect thereto. An ordinance authorizing the creation of a four-way stop and the replacement of placement of 4 stop signs at the intersection of Industry and Planters Canal Road, Belle Chase, Louisiana, to establish penalties for violations thereof and otherwise provide with respect thereto. An ordinance pursuant to Article 8, Section 8.05 of the Charter for Local Self-Government for the Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, to place before the electorate of Plaquemines Parish for adoption or rejection the proposed charter amendments and revisions prepared by the Parish Council, a copy of which is attached hereto, to provide for the calling of an election to vote on the proposed amendments and otherwise provide with respect thereto. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkling. Dr. Gooey?
Yes. An ordinance to amend the setback requirements in a settlement agreement between Plaquemines Parish Government and Woodlands Borrow Pits, LLC, covering permitted operations of the Woodlands South Borrow Pit in exchange for value of property to be acquired for the NOV 06 A.2 levy project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's it.
That's it. Thank you, Dr. Gooey.
I got a couple. A resolution to elect the chairman of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2015 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to elect the vice chairman of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2015 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And an ordinance authorizing the parish president to expend funds for the alternate projects associated with the Hurricane Isaac Mitigation Grant Program and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Thank you, Mr. Beers. I have a few. An ordinance to amend the General Fund 2015 Manpower Operating Budget, Council Secretary's Office, Personal Service Line Item, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan for the repairs of the Belle Chase Temporary Courthouse Project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to approve the assignments of the state agency lease 17431 by Hunt Oil Companies, assignees of all rights, titles, and interests to Dynamic Offshore Resources, LLC as assignee, and by Fieldwood Energy Offshore, LLC as assignor to Trog One, LLC assignee, involving property owned in division by the parishes of Jefferson and Plaquemines. Said lease recorded in the conveyance records of the Plaquemines Parish COB 1031 Folio 22, in the conveyance records of the Jefferson Parish COB 138 Folio 72, covering property located in the Section 44 T15S R24E Stella Field, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, to authorize the parish president to execute documents of approval and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. No, my bad. I took the thing off of it here. A resolution authorizing the signatures of accounts for the Plaquemines Parish government with Regions Bank. A resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Parish Community Action Agency to prepare the necessary application to the Louisiana Housing Corporation for a grant to provide utility assistance to the residents of Plaquemines Parish for the fiscal year 2015, and authorizing the President of Plaquemines Parish government to sign and submit said application and contract. An ordinance to amend the firefighting fund 2014 operating expenditure budget, firefighting department, various divisions, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution adopting the post-insurance compliance policy for tax-exempt municipal securities, authorizing the execution therefore, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. A resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the Director of Departments of Operations pertinent to Article 5, Section 5.01 of the Charter of Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. A resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the Director of the Department of Administration pertinent to the pertinent to the Article 5, Section 5.01 of the Charter of the Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution confirming the recommendation of the President of the Parish of Plaquemines for the designation of the Director of the Department of Public Services pertinent to the Article 5, Section 5-01 of the Charter for the Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2014 5-year capital improvement plan, various projects, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2014 operating expenditure budget, various funds, various departments, various line items, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing representatives of Plaquemines Parish government to invest funds in the Plaquemines Parish government. A resolution to authorize the signatures of the parish checking account at Regions Bank for the Coastal Zone Management Program titled Plaquemines Parish Wetlands Conservation and Restoration Fund, otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that is all. Mr. Edgecombe.
Yes, sir.